Hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. This is your host, Michael and Courtney Weaver. Today, we're going to be talking about what you need to be doing and focusing on when planning for 2023 in your business.
Yeah, so we're sitting down to really dive into how we're going to end the year and then what we're going to focus on next year. So we want to share that with you as well, just to give you some concepts and really the key strategies and where to focus. And then I also have printed out our P&L. So throughout this episode, we're going to be talking about money as well. And I'm going to break down exactly kind of how we organize where we spend our money, what we focus our money and our attention on. And that's going to vary from year to year. So before we get into this, I think it's really important to share that you have to have an intention for your year. You have to know what your area of focus is in your business. So I liken this to almost like an automobile, in the fact that there are times, let's say you're in a race car, there are times that you are going full speed ahead. And then there are other times where you're in the pit and you're changing tires and you're fueling up, you're doing what you need to do. So I think it's important first to assess, is this an area or a year of like really looking at infrastructure, or is this a year where we're double down on speed and growth? And you can have both, but one is going to be usually more of a focus.
Yeah, absolutely. And you definitely can have both. I mean, this year, 2022 for us personally was a infrastructure, organizational growth stage. So this was definitely more of a work on our organization year. Now, with that being said, you can still grow exponentially, hit your targets. I mean, we had over a 50% growth this year, but this year was purely focused on, hey, do we have the right people in place? Do we have the right infrastructure in place? Do we have the right systems, processes, partners, people with us that allow us to get where we want to go, not only in 2023, but 2025, 2030, things like that.
And I think for us, that was really challenging.
Super challenging.
As a business owner, it's scary to look at least it is for me, as somebody who looks at numbers very frequently, to constantly look at the numbers and want to push harder and know that I have to kind of pause a little bit because there's something else that needs my attention. And I think we did this in 2021 where we really evaluated, like, where are we killing it and what needs some improvement. So I would say that's really the first step, is to evaluate your current business, your current life, what that looks like, what went well this year, what you absolutely crushed, what lit you up, what was an area of growth for you, and then things that you don't want to bring in, like what are you going to change in 2023? So I think that's first, before we break down like how we would set up different strategies of a business plan for 2023, is to really have awareness on what's your intention, where did you kill it, and what are you going to change?
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Let's break down.
Let's get into it.
The funnel, baby.
Let's get into it. So, we look at our business and all businesses we've ever had as really like a funnel. So you have the awareness piece, you have the agreement piece, and you have the acceptance piece. So let's just walk through this real fast, and let's start with the awareness. So the awareness is the top of the funnel, if you want to picture. Just like a prospect funnel, it's the same thing with business. And so awareness is, how are you making customers aware of what you do? How are you attracting employees? How are you attracting new employees, or how are you developing a culture that people want to come and work with you? So how are you making yourself known? Thank you for, I was searching for the word right there. So known.
Like this is the marketing piece. This is advertising. This is putting your presence out there. How do you reach people that don't know who you are and share with them who you are, what you do, and how you can serve them? This is the top of the funnel. So some examples of this is, marketing from a social media standpoint. Maybe it's a billboard. Maybe it's internet leads, maybe it's
Google, social media,
Yeah.
referrals, like centers of influence, community events. And so that would be really our first strategy is always to think of, hey, 5 new business acquisition. What is your strategy? What are your 5 new business acquisition strategies? You can't be reliant on just one source, just
Yeah.
one income stream, because what happens if that marketing source just quits working, it just doesn't produce the results that you. So, and not only that, you don't want your team to be reliant on just one source either. So that's the first challenge is what are your 5 new business acquisition strategies? You're a sales organization. You always have to be growing. So that's the first thing I'd really challenge you to think about. And that's what we really, that's one of the very first things that we really get on paper.
Yeah, and I think that just like you said, it's almost like, and we teach this, the financial foundation, but it's almost like the corners of a house. So you have to look at bringing new business in. You have to have that stable foundation and not just have that one lead source. But I want to take a moment and clearly define something. So a lot of times we confuse prospecting for marketing. And so you want to make sure that when you're talking about new business acquisition, there's a couple different things in this category. So marketing is short, mid, or long term. So short term is like a cold call. That's a prospect. We're going to get them on the phone. We're going to have a value-based conversation. We're going to ask for the sale a minimum of 3 times, overcome objections, and then move on from that with a follow-up. That's a short-term marketing strategy.
That's true prospecting.
That's true prospecting. Yeah. Social media posts are not prospecting. That is marketing, and that is a long-term strategy. So when we talk about your 5 new business acquisition, like how you're bringing customers in, you're going to want to have a mix of all of those. So you're going to want to have that quick hit, like short sales cycle, but you're also going to want to make sure that you're heavy in a long-term sales cycle as well, because your consumer, not all consumers make quick buying decisions. Some of them can make very quick, like, yep, call, quote, close. I'm somebody, I have to watch you for a while. I have to get to know you. You can call me and you can pitch and you can go through the sale and try to close me, but I'm still going to want to get to know you a little bit. So I'm a longer buyer. So you have to cater your marketing for your consumer and bear in mind that they're going to be at different phases. So you just want to have acquisition strategies for all of those. Now,
Absolutely.
Hiring's
the same way.
Yeah.
And while talking about marketing, I just want to put this in there. Like the one thing that I see a lot of agency owners struggle with is them and their teams become reliant on solely like internet leads. Like it's almost like a drug. Like if internet leads aren't coming in, you're not writing anything.
Yeah.
And so that's the one real caution area. Like, sure, if you want internet leads part of your plan, great. But what are 4 other ways that you can attract customers, or what should your team be doing from a prospecting standpoint on a daily basis? So employees, that's where I was going to go next. Like, great, you have 5 new like acquisition strategies for new customers. How are you potentially acquiring new employees? How are you growing your organization with like-minded individuals? And so I would also challenge you, what are your 5 new employee acquisition strategies?
Yeah. And I think that this is incredibly important because not just because businesses are built through people, like that's how you scale a business, but also right now, the landscape continually evolves. The employee-employer relationship is continually changing. But I think that there's always going to be top talent out there if you're open to it and if they know that you're there. Yep. And so we always have the mindset that we're always recruiting, and we want to build a team of people that are smarter than us. Like we don't want to be the best ones in our organization. And even though my ego would like to say, yeah, you are the best, me being the best means that I don't have the right people in the right positions.
Yep.
They need to be smarter than me in area. They need to be able to catch my blind spots and do that. So I think that
So some strategies, all right? So like social media.
Yeah.
All right. Are you posting things about your office, your team, you're winning? People are attracted to businesses that are winning and have fun.
Yeah.
All right. So social media, what are you doing within your community? Are you telling your clients that you're hiring? Maybe.
Do you have posts out there? Have you
Yeah.
hired a company? Like, there's a lot of different ways that you can recruit. LinkedIn, are you leveraging that? That's probably the best platform
LinkedIn is
when it comes
dynamite.
to recruiting.
Absolutely. So, and then that's another thing, like you can do all these things, but then like, as you just said, are you going to team up with somebody that helps you on the recruiting front? Or you going to do it yourself?
Yeah.
All right. I think the last thing in the awareness piece that we can really talk about is budgets. All right. You got to know where your money's at.
Yeah. So you want to go into that? You want to go into money right now?
We can go into the P&L right now. Yeah.
Okay. So I printed off our P&L and I'm going to share that with you guys. Our accountant does this. So I would say when you're looking at your business.
So first, okay. And that's another thing.
Yes.
Like if you don't have an accountant, hire an accountant today. Like go out, interview 3 accountants and figure out the one that best works with you. You should not be doing your own accounting. You're an insurance professional. You're not an accountant. You should not be doing your own payroll. Like you can hire a service for almost no money to do your payroll. Like let those professionals do that. Let those services do that so you can concentrate on what you do best. And that's leading a team and helping folks out with legacy wealth planning, things of that nature.
Yeah. So we love our accountant. We've had him since we started our insurance
Day
agency.
one.
Yeah. And every month he provides us with a P&L. And so I'm just going to share the categories of this. So if you're wanting to get your money right, these are the categories that he uses for us. I would encourage you to check with yours. Just use this as a general framework. This is not like, gospel. But here are the categories. It's advertising, auto expense, computer expense, insurance, licensing and fees, maintenance and repairs, medical, meals and entertainment, office supplies, operating supplies, outside services, postage and freight, printing, professional fees, telephone, travel and meeting, bank charges, and then officer salaries and payroll. So those are our categories. I will tell you.
What are our top 5?
When Michael talks about getting your money right, our top 5 categories that we spend the most money on are officer salaries, payroll, advertising, travel and meeting, outside services, which we put all of our coaching and any personal development that we personally invest in go in this category.
So we invest, just so you all know, so we invest about 10% of our gross into development through coaches, masterminds, things of that nature, development for our team is part of it as well.
Yeah. So I think for us, when I look at this, and I'm just giving you a framework that you can create a plan that works for you, we want to make sure that we're investing first in ourselves. We've paid ourselves since day one. We're not shy to talk about that. I think that's very important. We run a for-profit business. So we pay ourselves, we pay our team really well. So it's investing in ourselves from not only a monetary standpoint, but a personal development and growth standpoint.
Yeah, those are our 3 biggest.
Those are our biggest.
I mean, we can call it expenses, but really they're investments.
Yep.
So we're paying our team. We're always going to, like payrolls are always our highest. Officer salaries, we got to pay ourselves.
Yeah.
We're in this, got to make some money.
Yeah.
And then the development piece. So investing not only in ourselves, but also our team in coaching, development, training, going to conferences, things of that nature.
Yep. And then advertising, that's your marketing piece. And then travel and meeting, we use that a lot for our networking. That's really, our business is built by people. Your business is built by people as well. So it's really getting out there and networking. So that brings us to our next piece. So we were in the awareness piece, but now it's the agreement piece. And that's really the day to day. So that's really where you're going to look at what are you doing every single day, not just from a training standpoint or a monetary standpoint, but what are your processes? What's your systems? What are your goals and expectations? Accountability. So I'm going to let Michael speak to this because I just went through all the money, which is my favorite thing to talk about.
I love money, man. Show me the money, baby. So, so here we go. The agreement phase. So this is the middle of the funnel that I look at as the nasty part of the funnel. Okay, and we haven't got to the bottom piece, and we'll go over that here in a little bit. And what I mean by nasty is it's the processes, it's the systems, it's the accountability measures, it's the expectations. It was the part that I, as a business owner, always struggled with. Because great, we had great processes and systems. We had great expectations. The piece I always struggled with was the accountability piece. Right? Great, everyone knows what to do. Everyone knows how to do it. But if they're not doing it, I got to lay the hammer. And that was that was the part I hated that part. Okay. So, I'm still not crazy about it today, but it's gotten easier throughout time, as hopefully, you can understand. So let's just go through this real fast. So from a strategy and accountability standpoint, all right. So number one, what processes do you have? So what's your strategy? So that's everything from team meetings to your sales processes to what your team is focused on a daily basis. What 3 things do they need to be doing? We always talk about the quote 3 method. So, hey, every single day, every producer needs to be quoting 3 new households with quality conversations. So that's what we're talking about with processes. Not only processes from the sales front, the team meeting front, what are your marketing processes? Everything you can think of, that's the middle of the funnel. So not only what are processes, all right, so goals. All right, so what are the goals? And then what are the minimum expectations? What's the daily win strategy, which I've kind of talked about. And I'm going to encourage you from a goal standpoint, annual goals, but then break it down into quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, not only goals, but more so expectations.
Yeah.
All right. And if you need a book to read, the 12-week year is really, really good.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
12,
so good.
12-week year was something that changed our career very early on. We picked it up, read it. We that's what we base everything off of. We actually run off of a 10-month year, really. We try to have everything capped by 10/31. But I want to get back to the agreement piece of the funnel. So bam, this part is solid. So this is the part. So what do your one-on-one meetings look like? What do your daily huddles look like? What do your quarterly meetings look like? What do your monthly planning meetings look like? These are all the things as a business owner, leader, manager. These are all the things that you need to not only think about, but you need to get on paper. And then we have to have good communication.
So I want to break this down a little bit further. So this would be where you're sitting down, especially right now, and we're talking about personal and professional goals with every single person in your office. So we've already clearly identified our big goal for our business. I think you have to start there first and then work backwards so that your team can align their professional goals with the organization's goals. So for instance, let's say your organization's goals is to hit at $1 million in premium this year. Let's say that's what it is. So you would sit down with every person on your team and you would have a conversation about what went well this year, what they would like to change, what they would like to improve, what they're going to take into 2023, what are some ideas that they have for their own personal growth, what are some personal goals that they have, how you can hold them accountable, how they want to be held accountable. This is a pretty beefy conversation, but this will set the framework for every one-on-one and review that you have throughout the year.
Yep.
So once you kind of clearly identify all of those things, then it's really the professional goals that you have for them within their office, within your office and your organization. So once you've communicated, okay, our goals are $1 million in premium, we're going to add $1 million in premium this year, then having clear communication on what their role and impact is in hitting that goal. And this is where things get fun. I think so many times, at least for me when I was first starting out, it felt like there was all this pressure, like this end of the year pressure of I have to meet with everyone, I have to do this, and I have to have everything figured out. It doesn't have to be done right now. It doesn't have to be done in December. A lot of times we're working on this in November. We're working on it in January. We're still molding and adapting and what works for our organization. Our big thing is as long as it gets done and we're all aligned with this is where we're headed, then I think that's the most important thing. So I wanted to break that down a little bit more about what it would look like, because essentially what we're doing is taking this beefy topic, having a a really great conversation. We like to do this out of the office too, and really get to know and have a great relationship with our people. But then that makes the rest of the year, when you're talking about how do I have a one-on-one, how do I have a review? Well, you already know that this is what we set our intention for and our goals for 2023. Yep. You're going to work off of that.
Yep. And we haven't talked about this, but aligning the personal goals as well.
Yes.
The team. So having them come up with, and yes, you guide the discussion, but having them also communicate like, hey, okay, I think this would be a great professional goal. I think this would be a great goal for our agency. Well, great. Why is that important? Great. What's your part in that goal? Mm-hmm. And then, hey, while we're talking about goals, what's your personal goals for 2023 and how can I help you get there? All right. Mm-hmm. So aligning, because then the expectations, the meetings, the accountability is a lot easier because it's, hey, you said this, you came up with the plan.
Is this still a priority?
Yeah, is this still important? Like, what's going on?
Have we shifted? And I think that we'll share our company and our life motto is happy, healthy, wealthy, and it's in that order. So personal development comes before anything else. Like how we are investing in ourselves personally is the baseline before we start adding big, audacious business goals, because we have to make sure that we have a mutual understanding of if growth and integrity are who we are to the core, how are we holding each other accountable to that in alignment with happy, healthy, wealthy?
Yep.
So
100%. The one thing I haven't talked about yet in the agreement phase of the funnel, and we're still in that middle nasty part.
Yep.
It's we talked about development, all right, but training. Mm-hmm. Like, what does your training plan look like? You're either getting better or you're getting worse. If you have and obviously we are very passionate about this. We own a coaching and training program and business, and but it's so true. Like when you look at those folks that are just knocking out of the park, they're achieving their goals every year. There is some type of training, there's some type of development, there's some type of piece within their culture on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis that is helping their team get better. And a lot of times it's the basics. To be an expert at everything, you have to be amazing at the basics on a day-to-day basis.
10,000 hours, baby.
10,000 hours. So what is your training plan? Look, if you need help, let us know. We'd love to work with you. Seriously, like that is the part that most people really, really struggle with. And I understand. We used to be some of those people in the very beginning. You get busy, things come up. Teams like, I don't have time for this. Yeah. Make time for it. What's important to you as a leader will be important to your team. So if it's a priority to you, it'll be a priority to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go on to the next. Acceptance. The bottom of the funnel. The bottom of the funnel. So the top of the funnel is really fun. Yeah. That's like the marketing. That's getting out into the community. That's your acquisition strategies. The bottom of the funnel, I look at as really fun too. So this is the retention piece. Mm-hmm. So this is the retention of not only your customers, but also your employees. All right. So from a customer standpoint, I'm going to challenge you to the same thing. So yes, you always have to be growing. You always have to be acquiring new business. But what are 5 retention strategies for 2023? What are 5 things you and your team can do to make sure that when that customer receives that 10%, 15%, 20% increase in the mail, that they're like, no worries, they are worth it. All right? They're worth it.
Yeah.
So some ideas. Appointments. Mm-hmm. Maybe you, I would encourage this one, appointments. So either in person or virtual. I'm not crazy about phone appointments. Multi-lining the customer is obviously a must. Customer appreciation days. That was one thing we always loved. Yeah. Like we did customer appreciation barbecues every year in the fall. 6-month check-in calls was always great. We'd call all of our customers every 6 months.
Yep.
Just to, number one, say thank you for your business. How's everything going? Need anything from us? Thank you cards. Yep. We sent thank you cards out every Friday of people we talked to that week. Onboarding strategy. You have to have onboarding. Holiday calls are an idea. Social media presence, like friending them on social media, I think was one of the best strategies we ever did for retention. So those are just some ideas. So come up with 5. Like,
Yeah.
what are 5 good retention strategies?
I love this part of the funnel because what we're doing is we're working you down into this deep core belief of people that know, like, and trust you. And that's not only from a customer standpoint, but that's also within your team and your organization. And how you get down that funnel is by action. And what we're trying to develop is a belief system of who you are and what you do and why someone should work with you, period. So I think when you're talking about the employee aspect of retention, that really goes back to the funnel, the middle section of the funnel that we were just talking about, and really getting to know your people. And then just like you would show appreciation to your customers on the check-ins and the thank you cards and, customer appreciation barbecue, you have to mimic and add even more to your customer or to your employees.
Your team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because your team actually builds your business.
100%.
Like, you invest in your people and your people build your business. So if you're doing it for your customers, here's my like hammer on the nail here. You have to be doing that plus more for your team. Mm-hmm. There's no way around that.
No, it takes a village. We are firm believers that the number one investment is always going to be in people. People grow the business. And so I love that. I love that you brought that up because I think that is 100% spot on. Also, with the acceptance piece of the funnel, this is where you generate referrals. Mm-hmm. All right. This is by doing this is where you're going to generate. Yes. Okay. In the agreement, you need to have some type of referral process where you're asking, okay? But the acceptance phase, this is when a customer knows you, they like you, they trust you, they want to support you, like they are on fire, they want to tell their friends about it. This is the acceptance funnel.
If you've worked them down, employees or customers, if you have worked them down, it is a referral or a review without an ask. You actually don't have to ask them for this. They do this automatically because they want to. So if you've worked all of these pieces, and so I want you to really look at that business and see how many referrals am I getting without me having to ask for them? How many reviews am I getting without me having to ask for them? And what do I have to do to provide top-notch service in order to change that? So I would really challenge you there to look at your business and think about it. Why would I refer somebody without them asking me? Why would I give them a review without them asking me? What do they have to do for me to do that? And that's what you need to build into your business. That's how you insulate it, especially right now with our industry taking rate changes across the board. All carriers are taking them. Yep. So you have to look at that.
That's projected. When you start looking, I try to research and read quite a bit. It's for the next 24 months, like easily every carrier is going to be taking rate increases probably consistently every 3 to 6 months. So how can you prepare for that?
Yeah.
How can you be there for your customers so they're not leaving you when they receive that in the mail?
Yeah. So this is what we do to plan for our year. I hope this adds some value to really give you kind of a context or a framework to plan for your year. Again, 2022 for us was a year of like infrastructure. It was a lot of pit where we were changing tires and doing a lot of that, which isn't fun if you were in a sales organization.
It's not fun.
Because you're looking at growth and speed. Speed is always to your benefit. But there are moments, and maybe it's not a year, maybe it's a quarter, but you have to constantly evaluate, can I turn this? Can I put this here? Can I do this to really push into overdrive and hit our goals in a way that is in alignment with our team and our organization to where it's fun? Like, sales to me is so much fun because there's so much energy around it. And you only actually help somebody when you make a sale. And that is a beautiful thing.
You only help them when you actually help them.
Yes,
like
it is a win-win.
When you get payment information,
fun.
That's when you just help that individual.
Yeah, like it's fun growing and learning new things. Yes, it may be challenging, but it becomes fun because you become an elevated version of yourself. So hopefully this gave you kind of a framework to really look at what you're going to do and your organization for 2023. We have a lot of fun doing this because every year you get to co-create. What do you want your year to look like?
And I think you hit it. I don't think you did hit it right on the head. Like, get clear with your intention for 2023. What do you want 2023 to look like? And then work backwards on how you're going to get there. And we would love at Weaver Sales Academy to partner with you in 2023. If your team is looking to get to that next level with training, with coaching, with proven sales methodologies and processes.
Yeah, that middle of the funnel. That's what we're doing.
We'd love to partner with you. If you have questions, let us know. We're working with 4,400 insurance professionals and growing every month, and we'd love to be that partner with you to help you crush your 2023 goals. So, as always, my friends, time is the most valuable and important asset that we all have. We appreciate you spending time with us today. Go out and make it great.